Hey guys, Zen here, and today I wanted to go over the 5 best defending operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Now of course this is my opinion and nothing here is set in stone or fact. You guys can also look forward to more operator lists like this, so make sure your notifications are turned on. But this list is in order, with number 1 being what I consider is the best defender in the game, so keep that in mind as we proceed. But to start this video off with the number 5 spot, we have Mira. It's no secret that Mira is a very powerful operator both in the gadget and gun department. She is a 1-speed, 3-armor defender who brings the Black Mira gadget to the field. Her mirrors can be placed on walls, either reinforced or not, and allow the defending team to see through them while the attacking team sees a blacked out window on the wall. Once on the wall, the defenders have the option of popping the red gas canisters holding the bulletproof window up, essentially creating a murder hole. This gadget changed the fundamentals of the game when it first released with Operation Velvet Shell, and has since changed the meta of almost every objective she's used on. Mira also wields what I think is the best anchor weapon, being the Vector 45. This gun is a shred factory and a headhunter. It has the highest fire rate of any primary in the game. It's very easy to handle with a straight up and down recoil pattern, and outside of the SMG 11 and 12, it has the fastest kill time in the game. With most weapons, body shots just aren't enough, but with Mira's Vector, it'll just rip apart any attacker in sight. She also comes with a secondary shotgun, which honestly doesn't have a lot of killing power, but does have the base utility of being a shotgun, so you can open hatches and walls if you need to. Now, Mira does have some drawbacks though. First off, the Mira itself can do more harm than benefit if used on a site that isn't great for it. Secondly, Twitch. Twitch's shock drone has the ability to open up black mirrors, which can be devastating to a strategy. This is the biggest drawback of picking Mira and is why she isn't higher on the list. But Mira on an ideal site with her Vector is always scary for the attacking team and most definitely slows down the push. Number 4 on our list might surprise some of you, but it's going to Lesion. Lesion is a 2-speed, 2-armor operator, and he comes with the goo gadget. You basically throw out this little canister of toxic needles and they cloak themselves, being invisible to attackers. Now, if an attacker steps on goo, they won't be able to sprint, and they'll also take a little damage over time until they take the time to pull out the needle. Now, all of this is great, and as it stands, the gadget does work as intended, but the best part of this gadget is actually the sound it makes once an attacker steps on it. It almost sounds like breaking glass and definitely alerts the defending team of your general location. It's an incredibly valuable information tool that will cause checkmate late in a match with goo throughout the objective. It's also very hard to counter as an attacker as well. Not only is it cloaked and can't be seen by the naked eye, but Lesion can throw out 8 of these mines now, and they can easily be placed literally anywhere. He also has 2 pretty good primaries with the silenced 612 Shotty and the T5 SMG. Now, I prefer the SMG because it's just a really solid weapon and generally the better choice. It should be noted that Lesion is one of those rare ops that gets better as the round goes on. He doesn't get all of his mines at once, instead getting them in 30-second intervals as of now, so you'll only see his best utility come the last minute to 30 seconds or so. But I feel Lesion is a really slept on defender and will be a major problem for the attacking team, given he stays on the field long enough to utilize all of the goo. Moving on to number 3 on this list, we have Rook. Now, I know some of the community is indifferent on Rook and doesn't see his ability as that important, but as a global operator whose purpose is literally only good, I feel he has to be on this list. Rook is a 1-speed, 3-armor defender that brings the armor pack gadget, which basically gives the entire defending team a slight bulletproof resistance and will drop you into the down but not out state instead of killing you on the final shot. There isn't much detail to give on Rook. He's one of those defenders who's been here since day one and has always and will always have purpose on a defending team. He isn't fancy and his gadget may not be that exciting, but in the event you go down and make it to see another kill, you'll thank Rook, even if you don't know it. That's what being a Rook main is all about. You respect the fact that you just may be the most important guy on the team and your ability saves lives and sometimes even rounds, but your team may never acknowledge you for it. Now, he comes with really good weapons all the way around in my opinion, and his kit is useful as well. His main submachine gun is the MP5, but he also has access to the P90. Now, some people despise the P90, but I've actually come around to enjoying its high fire rate and smooth recoil. The MP5 is the better weapon though. It's got got a faster kill time with higher damage, but also a really manageable recoil with little bounce. You also have to mention the fact that he's one of only 3 defenders with access to the ACOG scope as of now. Since removing it from Bandit and Jager, Rook is probably the main option for most to use an ACOG on defense. It's very hard as an attacker to deal with a Rook on site holding tight angles, and you know as an attacker he has just as much of a chance as you to get the headshot. Top him off with impact grenades, and I think Rook is well balanced with an overall great kit, which is what defines the number 3 spot, an op that's solid and foundational to a team. The number 2 spot goes to Mute. Now I figured this list has to include an op that stops the hard breach, which at this time is basically Mute and Bandit. So yes, the battle was between Mute and Bandit for this spot, and trust me guys, I thought long and hard about this. The Bandit trick is such a strong mechanic and the MP7 is the better weapon in my opinion, but since removing his ACOG and dropping down the barbed wire count to 2, Bandit I feel struggles to hold such a high spot. Mute on the other hand I feel is a little bit slept on at this stage in the game. He is a 2-speed, 2-armor defender with the Signal Disruptor gadget. Slowly but surely Mute is finding more and more purpose in the meta. His main utility is to deny enemy electronics, so things like Thermite Breach Charge, Hibana's Launcher, regular breach charges, and even Fuse's Cluster Charge. He also has the ability to jam drones that get in close proximity of the jammers, which I think is such a strong perk for his gadget and is really understood at the highest levels of play. Drones are the attacker's only other line of sight. When both drones get picked off, you're left with just your senses in most cases, and to me it's like being naked as an attacker. I use my drones as a way to light my path before I move in, and I also post them up on site to act like a camera. In a lot of those situations, Mute can just destroy that playstyle. On top of that, he is the only counter to Dokubi's Logic Bomb, and he even counters Lion's EE1D drone. Now, I realize with Lion you only get a few steps while his scan is active, but sometimes that's all you need to peek an angle, and having that utility on site is big in this meta. I usually always anchor down with Mute and hug my jammers for this reason. This meta is moving more and more into electronically powered gadgets, and with Mute being literally the only counter to them, you've got to acknowledge the utility. His weapons are well balanced as well, with the MP5K sub, which is great, and if you want a shotgun, his pump action will get the job done. I've been using Mute a ton recently, and it's for all of these reasons here at the number 2 spot. Now we have our honorable mentions. These are the ops that are really good choices, but lacked in some way enough to not make the official list. Some people use these videos as a way to decide which ops to buy next or to get general information on them, and so I've got 2 more ops here to help serve that purpose. Our first honorable mention goes to Vigil. A quick fun fact, Vigil is my main on defense, and he's slowly becoming an addiction I can't let go of. The guns, people. Vigil has amazing guns. He's a 3-speed, 1-armor defender that comes with the ERC-7 gadget, which cloaks him from cameras and drones when active. I'll admit, Vigil can be very situational. He can also be hard to tell if it's ever even working. His main drawback is that the drones can sense him when he's around with his gadget active by seeing a white signal around the screen and hearing a slight noise from the gadget itself. It can actually reveal your general position if you have it on at the wrong times, so it's a weird gadget to really get a full understanding of, so I get why people don't see his full potential. But his guns on defense are so good. The K1A is my favorite gun on defense right now. It may just be my favorite gun in the game. There's very little kick, and it's got a recoil pattern that, if mastered, is super easy to handle. He also has the SMG-12 as a secondary, which, similar to the SMG-11, is just a fast-killing automatic sidearm. It's a great tool to have when you run out of bullets or when you're roaming and dealing with more than one enemy. His biggest counter is IQ. She can see him while his ability is active and is the lead reason why he is never picked in Pro League. I've personally never come across this issue, and even if I did, IQ is played so little as of now that it probably wouldn't pull me away from playing him in the future. Vigil has been my main on defense ever since his release, and I just had to include him here. It's just not all about the gadgets for me. That list is coming very soon, but for the operator as a whole is how I judge these lists, and Vigil, with his amazing guns, good kit, and 3-speed, earns him his spot. The final honorable mention goes to Bandit. To put it simply, the Bandit trick alone gets him on this list. Bandit is a 3-speed, 1-armor defender that comes with the CED-1 gadget, which is basically a rigged battery for destroying enemy gadgets and also damaging those in contact with it. Now, the Bandit trick takes some finesse, but you essentially sit and wait for Thermite to place his charge, and as he's detonating, you place a battery down to destroy it. Even the devs at Ubisoft have said they never imagined such a mechanic, but it's super effective, so it's now core to the game, especially at high level play. Being able to completely deny Thermite and now Hibana is huge. It seals off an entry that you no longer have to worry about, and in most cases, destroying their gadgets in the process. He also has the MP7, which is a beast of a sub and a fan favorite for sure. Bandit was recently buffed to destroy drones with the shock wire instantly, and I have to say that it's a great change and buffs him up even further and makes him a little more appealing. But that's gonna do it for the honorable mentions. Now we move into the number 1 spot, who I consider to be the best defensive operator in the game right now. Our number 1 spot goes to Jager. Jager has always been a powerhouse on defense, and I think is that perfect blend of support and aggression. He is a 3-speed 1 armor operator that brings the active defense system, or ADS, to the field. This gadget is what I refer to as the no-fly zone. You place his ADS down and any enemy projectile outside of capital bolts will be intercepted. Each ADS can deal with 2 projectiles, making it very hard for attackers to do anything but shoot into an objective. Jager can and will be a complete shutdown for an attacking team, and has easily been one of the biggest reasons a tide will turn during a round. Outside of that, he has the only defensive assault rifle, which packs a powerful punch. It is a little bouncy, and its recoil is noticeable against some other weapons, but it makes up for it again with a damage stat of 43. Some people actually enjoy the German shotgun as well, so if you're into that, it's a pretty good option. But this is another operator that doesn't necessarily do something super fancy. It's just that no matter the objective, no matter the circumstance, if Jager is on a defending team, it hurts the attackers in a big way. It makes strats like the Ying plant very difficult and will almost always save someone's life against Fuse, even though they kind of counter each other. Like many other ops, Jager does have his counters like Twitch and Thatcher, but typically right after the attackers use that utility against Bandit, they waste it all out and then have to deal with the Jager ADSs. Most times, the very next thing that an attacker will do after a wall gets blown open is throw grenades like flashes, smokes, or even frags in to follow up. Jager counters that entire gameplay loop, which is basically as or more important than other mechanics in the game. There really isn't much else to say about him. Yes, he lost his ACOG, but that doesn't take away from the overall worth as an operator in my opinion. His 3-speed gives him the choice to either anchor or roam, and his gun has the highest damage on defense with a pretty high fire rate as well. He's picked almost every round for these reasons, and that's why I believe he gets this number 1 spot and my choice for the best defender in the game right now. But there it is, guys. That is my 5 best defending operators at this point in Rainbow Six Siege. Soon I'll have videos going over the best roamers and anchors and so much more, so you guys can look out for that. But I want to hear from you. What are your 5 best defenders in Rainbow Six Siege, and do you agree with mine? Let me know everything in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen.
Hey, I'm out.